Hi guys, I'm here with my friends at allfreecrochet.com who asked me to produce a video on one of my patterns, and today I'm going to be doing the crochet daisy rug. And for this project you're going to need 4 colors, one for the center of the flower, one for the flower petals, one for the border around the petals, and then one for the rim on the outside. White and black doesn't show up very well on camera, so I'm going to be using other colors in hopes that it's going to show up. For this project, you're going to need a 5mm hook, which is a size H hook in the US and a size 6 in the UK. So get your 5mm hook and get your loop on the color that you want to use for the flower and chain 4. And then you want to slip stitch into that beginning chain to form a ring. Then chain 3 and slip stitch into the center ring. Chain 3 and slip stitch into that ring again. Chain 3 and slip stitch into that center ring. And you want to continue to do this until you have 10 of these little petals. Okay, when you get to the end, go ahead and cut your string, and then you need to change colors to the color that we're going to be using for the petals of the flower. So get that color and put it on your hook, and I'll show you what you do. This, as you can see, is a split on the top. This is where you ended. So what you want to do is just flip that over and slip stitch into the back stitches of those little petals that you did. Just slip stitch the color on like that and chain 3. And this, what I'm showing you, is the small motif. See, there's the small, these are the small motif, these are the large. To make a large, you essentially start by making the small, and then you just continue. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you how to make and stop, to make the small. But you got to keep in mind on the small, when you're actually making the small, you don't want to use this color. You're going to want to use the color that you use for the rim. That way, when you sew it all together, it's not going to show up, and it's going to make these little flowers here pop. So basically I'm going to be showing you how to make them, but when you start to make them, use the right color. So you chain 3 and you slip stitched into the next back stitch. And what you want to do is chain 3 and slip stitch to the next back stitch. Chain 3 and continue to do this until you have 10 petals. I want to show you on the 9th petal because it can be difficult to find. You want to get into this little, see if I can get a little tighter here. There's a stitch here that's the closest to the rim. You want to get into this stitch. You don't have to go through 2 of them. Just get into one of them and slip stitch. That's 9, so chain 3. And then you want to end your last petal where you began, in this first place where you started. So slip stitch into that. And then you want to chain 1 and cut your string. If you were doing the center motif, the small motif. This is the small motif. You would stop there. And you don't need a tail for the small motif, because if you leave a large enough one on the big one, big motifs, then you're going to have more than enough yarn to sew in everything you need. So to save you on all those tails, just cut it and then you're done. But since we're going to be doing a big motif, I'm going to show you what you need to do. Once you slip stitch into the back to end the last petal, you'll want to slip stitch into this first chain 3 that you did, and chain 3. Then you want to do 4 double crochets into that chain 3 space. And then flip your work over and slip stitch into that first chain 3 space that you did. Chain 2, and then do 5 double crochets into the next chain 3 space. And then you want to flip your work over and slip stitch into this first double crochet that you did, and chain 2 to make the next popcorn. You're going to need to make 10 of these little popcorns. So continue to do 5 double crochets and then turning it into a popcorn and chaining 2 for the remainder of the 8 chain 3 spaces. This tutorial was brought to you by allfreecrochet.com, and please stay tuned to the second part of this tutorial.